Mike, are you a big cheese fan?
I mean, I don't consider myself an expert, but I mean, I love cheese as much as the next person, I guess. Well, maybe except for you.
Hey, my lactose intolerance is not on trial today.
I mean, okay, we'll deal with that another time, I suppose.
Perhaps.
The people against Stephen Hackett.
The dairy farmers of America.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. I'm gonna assemble them.
Today we have a more pressing matter, though. The Nottingham cheese riot, which took place back in October of 1766.
Was that a pun? Pressing? You don't know how that's a pun, do you?
Pressing cheese? Pressing...
Yeah, sure.
I tried making a wine press joke here, like wine and cheese, but I couldn't quite get to it.
Well, but like a cheese press is a thing. It's like part of the cheese making process.
Yes, that's what I meant, clearly.
Of course, yeah, I mean, of course. This incident that we're talking about today, not the one that Stephen just committed, started at the Nottingham Goose Fair back in 1766. Today, this is an event still going, full of carnival games, rides, and attractions. But in ye olde England, it was a livestock and trade event with a reputation among buyers and sellers to be a fantastic place for cheese merchants to peddle their wares.
If it was cold enough, maybe you could combine the cheese and games into curdling. Are you still there, Mike?
Are you trying to make up for the missed pun earlier on? Like, what is this? Not for much longer, I don't think.
During this time, Nottingham was home to several cheese manufacturing operations, all of whom had been hit by a poor harvest season that year. As such, prices for many different types of food and household goods had climbed, and some things were pretty hard to get your hands on at all.
Yep, supply chain problems. Happening back in 1766 as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a big boat got stuck sideways in a canal somewhere.
Yep, and then no cheese for anyone. I've got to commend you, by the way, in your pronunciation of Nottingham. I'm very proud of you right now, actually. That you didn't barrel in here with Nottingham, right? Like, you know.
I think I did it the first time I said it, but then I corrected it.
You corrected it. I'm very proud of you. Anyhow, the cheese market back then was not immune to economic pressures, and when the fair began, prices were around twice what they had been the week before. This meant many families could not afford to buy cheese at the fair, but things really hit the fan when a group of merchants from Lincolnshire showed up and bought a large quantity of cheese with the intent to resell it in their county.
If this had been a meat riot, I could have called it Nottingham.
Yes, and I would have been fine with that.
So this group of merchants coming in, it did not go over well with people who had already been struggling to keep their pantry stocked. A group of men demanded the merchants not take the cheese out of the area, and violence soon broke out.
Gonna read a phrase here, a particularly good phrase from Wikipedia that I enjoy very much. Violence broke out, and there was widespread looting of cheese.
Cheese looting.
Cheese looting.
It is a funny phrase. The local mayor did not find it very funny, as it was reported that he was knocked down by a rolling wheel of cheese when he was just trying to keep the peace.
As you can imagine, especially if the mayor's getting knocked over by a rolling wheel of cheese, things got out of hand pretty quickly. Some locals started to arm themselves and set up roadblocks to stop the cheese from being carried out of the area. Shops were broken into, a warehouse was attacked, and a ship was stopped, boarded, and searched. All in the name of cheese.
That's the most impressive thing to me. Like, you stopped a ship? Like, good job. You got to stop those cheese pirates. Mm-hmm. Do you think they went on board to search and rind some cheese?
What is the word that you're replacing with rind?
Find. I'm sorry for all the cheesy jokes.
I hate this so much.
Eventually, the military was called in to restore order, and some soldiers shot into the crowd, killing one man and injuring several others.
Cool.
Sadly, the killed man was just an innocent standby. He was just there. He was a local farmer guarding his own sales booth to prevent it from looting, and was killed for doing so.
It took several days for the cheese riots to die down, and for months afterward, wagons carrying large cheese wheels traveled in convoys with armed guards to protect them.
Folks in nearby towns were also suffering shortages of food, and riots ended up breaking out in other areas of England that year. There's a link in our show notes if you want to learn more about the 1766 food riots. Our thanks to Eddie for sending this topic in. Didn't know it happened, but man, what a weird, also tragic story. If you want to read more about the Nottingham cheese riot, go check out the links in our show notes at relay.fm/ungeniused/163. There you can send us an email to get in touch and submit your own favorite Wikipedia topic, and it will go on the list for consideration for a future episode. You can find us online as well. The show is at Ungeniused on Twitter. You can send things there as well. Until next time, things get a little bit nutty at a fair, Mike. Say goodbye.
I couldn't think of a cheese pun, so goodbye.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye? There you go.
Oh, it's good. Oh, man. I love it.